Hello everyone, welcome to Trial of the Controller. Today we're gonna talk about some meta decks in Pokemon TCG Pocket, and then I also include some gameplay from using Mewtwo EX against potentially other meta decks, because that's the only deck I have so far. It's not easy in this early stage to get all the decks that you want. Rather, you kind of start on what you have and try to build a meta deck. If that's something you are interested in. So yeah, I'll just briefly go through the top tier and high tier decks, such that if you see them in online battles, you know kind of what to expect. So the top tier is the Starmie EX and the Pikachu EX, and then yeah, both of them are extremely quick. So it's possible that turn 2 they just give you like 90 damage, and then they just keep doing it until they are knocked out. That's basically the gist of a deck that like they have very few Pokemons. You basically only have 4, so you don't have to worry about your bench being full, being occupied, because you only have 4 basic to play anyway. And then for Starmie EX, particularly, just try to use Misty to gain energy. Starmie doesn't extremely need it, but it's still nice that potentially you can get a turn 1 attack with Articuno, which is very powerful. That in Pocket, turn 1 you can attack, you just cannot attach energy. So usually you cannot attack, but Misty kind of breaks that if you are good at coin tossing. There's a probability that you can attack. But yeah, there are obvious some variants, but I think Articuno EX is still like the best deck build. The good thing about having all your Pokemon EX is that if you they need to knock out 2 EX to win, because each of them gives 2 points. While here they can almost cheat with KOing one Greninja and then Starmie. I'm not saying Greninja is bad, but it's easier than knocking out 2 EXs. But yeah, well, that's a deck I don't have. So another deck, Pikachu EX. This is very common. I think there are many different ways to build it. The main gist is to use Pikachu EX to attack, but on the bench you need 3 electric Pokemons, and then they can also do decent damage, like the Electrode, 70 damage. You don't necessarily need the supporter, the Lewis or something, that aggregate the lightning energy to the active Electrode, or because it doesn't work on Pikachu EX, and then it also doesn't need that many energies, so it's not that powerful. I mean, if you do run Raichu, then yes, you want Lieutenant Surge, which is pretty good. That you get to have a much higher output, 140. But of course, that if they knock out Raichu, which has less health than Pikachu, like a Starmie with a Giovanni, can KO a Raichu, which is bad, because it's basically an easy kill for them, and then they just need to KO Pikachu EX. You're basically thinking about other meta decks when you are analyzing one meta deck. So this is probably better. Yeah, can't say too much. I mean, there's so many variants. Also, the Zebstrika could KO like a weak Pokemon on the bench, and sometimes it's really powerful because Pikachu EX doesn't kill in one shot. So if they have a 120, and then you can just use Pikachu EX, and then Zebstrika, obviously they have a higher chance of being KO'd. But yeah, so those are the so-called top tier decks. The common thing about them is that they are extremely quick to set up, makes them very good, and it's kind of hard to kind of be stuck. That you have Pokeball, so then you can fill your bench quickly. But it's not necessarily saying that the high tier decks are that. Like, you still have a decent chance. The thing about meta deck is that all of them give you a decent winning chance. That even if you start with the bad hand, that you just try to come back, imagine like what's happening next, it gives you a decent chance of coming back. Like the chance of winning in the bad battle is higher than you think. So that's why like playing with meta decks is fun. Like, it's not necessarily that you just want to destroy all the non-meta decks, although That's basically what they do. But also, like, when you are facing other meta decks, that you have much more to work with. So without further ado, Mewtwo EX. Pretty fun to play. The main gist is to obviously charge Mewtwo EX, and then you get this 150, which then you have to discard 2 energy to use it. But then if you have a Gardevoir on the back, then every turn you can charge 2 energy, because you attach 1 energy and then Gardevoir attaches 1 for you. So you basically can 150 all the time. Every turn you can do a 150, which is very strong. It one shot, I mean, everything other than Venusaur EX and what? Isn't there a 160? But it does one shot Charizard EX, which is great. And then yeah, you have 2 of them. So ideally, you just have one standing up in the front and then keep 150. If they happen to KO you without losing, and then you have another one up, another Mewtwo EX, ideally, like more often, sometimes you start with routes on the front, so the routes get KO'd, and then you can only kind of use 1 Mewtwo EX, but still very strong. On the supporter side, yeah, you have all the common things to support, right? Like Potion makes you live longer, XP. If you start with the routes on the front, it basically saves you 1 energy for retreat. Obviously, Professor's Research. I don't think there's any deck that can afford to not run 2 Professor's Research at this point. Giovanni is pretty strong. That your Psychic Sphere will be used quite a lot, and then there are a lot of basic with 60 like routes. HP, and then having early KO with Giovanni, it also surprises your opponent a little bit. I mean, everyone is expecting you have Giovanni, but you know, if they just have to have that 60 HP basic on the active, and then you just get 1 point, and then you KO another EX, then you're good. Sabrina is trying to stall your opponent or just get the Pokemon you want to KO. If you switch out their active with a lot of energy, then they have to. If they don't have XP, they have to attach an energy and get it back. So kind of they waste 1 turn of attaching energy. Red card, it's kind of more technical. You basically have to guess what they have in hand. I saw a lot of people using red card on turn 1 if they start first, because that you kind of, I don't know if that makes sense, but you do have 4 cards in your hand, and then doing red card, then you have 1, and they have 1 less card to work with in the beginning, which is worse, obviously. That's one way of using it, but also sometimes it's better to guess a little bit, right? If turn 1, like they start turn 1, they put on basic, and then they still have, I don't know, 4 or 5 cards in their hand, and you're guessing that, oh, they have an evolution, they're gonna evolve next turn, and you red card them, they'll never see that evolution Pokemon again, which is great. So this card requires some kind of guessing. There's a scope that you can look at other people's hand, but it's not guaranteed it will appear with the red card. So it's better to guess. Yeah. So this is how it would work. There's no variant because you just want as less Pokemon as possible, so that you always draw. If you draw in a Pokemon, you draw in the right one. So this is what we're gonna run later. But I do want to kind of briefly cover other ones. So Charizard, obviously also very strong. You can see the structure now, that you basically have one support Pokemon that charges energy, and then you have a big bulky high damage. Oh, actually Charizard is 180. Oh, I was baffling. Yeah, you cannot one shot Charizard. My bad. Yeah, I was being dumb. But anyway, yeah, but so obviously this one you want to start with Moltres on the front, and then just keep attaching energy to a Charmander, and then you slowly evolve it, and then you have I mean, yes, you have to discard 2 fire energy, but if you have 5 fire energy on it, like, who cares, right? So you do have to start with the Moltres on the front beginning, which is it's not too bad. You have 1/2 of a chance to have Moltres in your hand when you begin, so it's good. And then Pokeball, you can X-speed your Charmander back. There are many ways to get the Moltres. The first time you can attach energy, and then you just keep Infernal Dancing. It doesn't have Giovanni because nobody uses Slash, I guess. I mean, Slash is 60 already, so you can already KO most of the basic Pokemon. So you might as well just bring them more and try to stall them more when you're doing your Infernal Dance. So no need for Giovanni. There's some variants. Yeah, I know. I don't have Charizard EX. I don't know how, but I do feel like this one is more simple and easier to work with. Venusaur. I mean, personally, I like Venusaur, but this just doesn't seem that strong. I'll probably still play it sometime later, but I don't have very high hopes for it. Just because like it's slower than Charizard. Like you have to evolve Petilil to use Leaf Supply, which gives a 1 short energy, whereas Moltres EX gives expected value 1.5 energy, right? So it's a less good energy attachment. You need evolution. This is not an EX, but who cares? Like if they KO 1 Lilligant and 1 Venusaur EX, you're done. And then if after all this effort, then you get to do Giant Bloom, it does 100. So it doesn't one shot. It basically doesn't one shot any EX Pokemon. So you have to do twice, and then at the same time Charizard can one shot you, right? Like forget about healing. Just like wait, let me make sure that's right. Yeah, it's 200. Even without the type advantage, you can be one shot by Charizard EX. Like Mewtwo EX doesn't one shot this, which is good, but still, like the healing doesn't. If you get hit 150, and then you heal, and then you what Erica, that gives you what 40, 70, 120. You cannot take another 150. So what's the point? Well, if you have 2 potions, great. So like, I'm not saying. I mean, I personally want this to work, but just by the face of it, maybe it works well. I don't know. I never seen people playing this one. If I have the car, I'll definitely play it though, and I'll see what happens. But it doesn't look. There are variants. Like Executor is very strong, so maybe this variant is better. Like just forget about energy charging. Just basically use Executor, and then if the Executor keep destroying them while you charge up your Venusaur EX, that's pretty good. You have a Caterpie variant that just makes you find your Bulbasaur, Ivysaur, I guess Ivysaur, Venusaur much faster, and kind of you rely on them. But also Caterpie is like anyone can kill them basically. Yeah, but anyway, okay. So 18 trainers. I've seen this deck. And this deck is very interesting. If I do have 2 Articuno EX, I'll definitely run this deck. But this is kind of fun. Like I mean, if you play the physical version, the Iron Thrones deck, the 2024 championship, this is kind of it. With the benefit that you don't have Mulligan. Because in the Pocket version, like rules are made to be exploited, right? In Pocket, you don't Mulligan if you don't draw a basic. You always draw a basic. The program is made such that you always draw a basic to start. So, like, who cares that you have a 1 out of 9 chance of drawing the Articuno? Well, I guess each card, whatever. But just guaranteed to have an Articuno opening, and then you have Pokeball, so then you kind of get another one, and then you just do all this thing, right? Like, okay, if Icy Wind doesn't kill you, Giovanni, if Blizzard, there are a lot of 90 Pokemon, so Giovanni, kill, and then it also does 10 damage to the bench, so all the 10s add up. You can KO 100, maybe, like Sand Slash. I don't know who runs Sand Slash, but something. You just keep red carding them, and then it's just like there's so many things you can do with all the trainer cards. You store them, you attach energy. It's a very fun deck to play, it seems. I also lost to it once. So this is Zapdos variant. I guess I think it's fine. I think Articuno is stronger because this one, I generally don't like coin toss, like deciding energy, because sometimes you cannot even KO a 50. Like, what's the point? Expected value is 100 though, but Blizzard is a short 80, and then it does do 10 damage to the bench. So, I mean, expectedly it does 100 kind of very, very reliably, and then the IC Wing is much better than Peck. So, I think. But if that's what you have, feel free. Like it's not bad. It's kind of fun. But yeah, and then the Dragonite. This really relies on luck. Like so your main damage dealer is Dragonite, Dracometer, which surely does 200 damage, but you don't get to distribute it. It will just automatically distribute between all the Pokemon, all the opponent's Pokemon on the board. The stalling is interesting. I mean, with Dragonite, you need some sort of stalling because you just charge so slowly. There's no way to charge. Well, I guess, yeah, the Misty doesn't work. So then their strategy is kind of Koga. So Koga put a Weezing back. So then you have a Weezing tanking damage, and then you just Koga it back. Also, it also switches, which is good because it's impossible to get Weezing back without Koga. So then Weezing takes a lot of damage, you Koga it back. Also, Dragonite is not an EX, so you can PKO 2 Dragonites. I mean, if you can charge 2 Dragonites, I don't know. So you're totally fine, like having a Coughing, maybe Weezing, give them to KO, and then have another Coughing, Weezing, Koga, whatever, stall them, and then until you charge Dracometer, you just put the Dragonite on Dracometer. Well, I guess realistically 2 times, right? They're not gonna just sit there, but it's fun. If I do have all these cards, it's a pretty fun deck actually. I do have 2 Koga, so I may run this Frostmouth. Okay, this is a different kind of stalling. You just use Frostmouth to stall, and then conveniently it has water type. You can also Misty Frostmouth, and then just sleep them. It's a guaranteed sleep, so it's one half of the time they cannot do anything during their turn. I mean, they can attach energy, but they cannot attack or retreat during their turn. There's no switch, so the sleep is particularly powerful. Yeah, both are fun. Yeah, like from the face of it, I don't see which one is better. Well, this one you don't run Dark Energy, so this is basically just you just poison them, which can be bad, but otherwise you don't do any damage unless you run. Yeah, you don't run Dark Energy, so this one gives more damage output, but this one I guess is more tanky. But anyway, yeah, those are all like fun decks. I'll stop here. Not saying those decks aren't worth playing. I think it's still fun, but I mean, I think those decks would work better. So yeah, let's look at some Mewtwo ES gameplay.